Welcome to our Easy Strength course. In this first course, we're going to go through the basics of the Easy Strength protocol. You're going to get a lot of information, and like our other courses, goal setting, programming, and the upcoming part 2 of Easy Strength, we're going to have questions after every group of essays. We're going to have lots of videos, lots of content, lots of materials, and we're going to do our best to explain things to you. Now listen, we've broken it out into 3 parts, and the 3 parts are section 1, it's called the Quadrants and Easy Strength. When I first started working with Pavel, trying to explain this simple concept of easy strength to people, one of the first questions we came up with was, well, how can this impact our various athletes and the general population? This course is focused more on the general population, but I think there's real value in understanding how it impacts athletes. Because like Phil Maffetone says, everyone is an athlete. So as we first started discussing this idea of easy strength, we realized that, well, as a strength coach, I impact this group a little differently than I impact that group. And so we broke it down into 4 things called the quadrants. And we'll spend our time going through that first section with some clarity and detail about coaching people and working with people in each of the 4 quadrants. Some of you may say, well, I'm not an athlete, I'm not a coach, I'm not a trainer. Why do I need to know this? Well, it's interesting because when I go through quadrant 1, and I had a wonderful youth athletic and physical education career. I learned a lot of sports, learned a lot of things, had a lot of fun, learned about health and hygiene and all kinds of things and how to climb fences and how to run over stuff. I look back and I still realize that there were some gaps in my education that I wish we could have filled at the time. And then I look at quadrant 3, which basically has been my entire career, and I look back now after 50 years, 5 decades as a thrower, and realize that I made things way too complicated sometimes, and I could have kept things fairly simple. So the first section is kind of fun, and we're going to talk a little bit in there about things like peaking and like how to train experienced athletes. Now, it's not just for athletes. Sometimes what you learn when you work with elite athletes prepares you better for just about anything else you do in life. I had a person not long ago ask me about how I deal with my home, and I realized that I have checklists, just like I do as a coach and athlete, for my home care, just like I have checklists for what I want my athletes to bring, or what to bring to a certification, or what to bring to a weightlifting meet, or what to bring on a vacation. I find it really nice when I show up on vacation to make sure I have sandals and a swimsuit if I'm going to some place that's nothing but beaches. Well, now we move on to section number 2, which I call the nuts and bolts of the easy strength method. In section 1, we're going to have 12 different lectures for you, 12 different essays, plus a lot of questions. Section 2 is a little bit shorter on paper, but quite long and deep. There's 6 sections there. Each will have an essay, a video, and questions. It's the nuts and bolts. It goes back to the beginning when Pavel shared this idea with me. It discusses how it's so logical in my head. By the way, sometimes when something's very clear to you, it becomes very difficult to explain to other people, and how I've had to actually rethink and practice coaching easy strength because I had absolute clarity in how it was taught to me. We'll also talk about, in this section, we will talk about selection of weights and exercises, as well as cardiovascular training, which is pretty simple. And we will discuss what I have found to be a kind of a simple question, but a bit annoying because many people miss the basic point here. It's going to be about warm-ups. In our last section, section number 3, this is going to be called Easy Strength and the Application to All of Us. Now, when you look at it, it looks like it's the shortest section because there's only 2 topics. Yet that is the richest in the writing and in the lectures. The 2 topics are easy strength ideas across a lifetime Yes, it does take us back to section 1 and it reviews some materials, but it also breaks things up that we can actually discuss and elaborate on in future conversations. And of course, to me, which the thing that has become the most shocking about my easy strength experiences, and I still can't believe how well it works, easy strength for fat loss. Now, as I'm talking, I'm 31 pounds down in 4 months when I first started this little experiment. So that's pretty good. And this last weekend, my coach said to me he wants me down to a lighter weight class. So I'm on a journey of losing 50 pounds in about a 6 month, 7 month period with the goal of keeping it off for the rest of my life because at my age, I don't need all the extra cargo. And then finally, we'll have a short little conclusion for you. And what I like about our conclusion is Brian's great insight: try it, then make it better. And in the conclusion, we'll talk about making things better after you do it once or twice. I think you're going to really enjoy this course. I'm looking forward to the feedback on this. I'm looking forward to our conversations over at the forum at danjohnuniversity.com. Welcome aboard and let's get started.